Yo, what's up? What's up? Welcome to episode 21, Peon Podcast. Today on the show, we got Kevin Cannon, who is the current chef of cuisine at Barley Swine. We're going to be continuing our little journey through Barley Swine here. This is part one of two parts. Kevin and I talked for like 3.5 hours on my patio. So you're going to hear this is part one. This is him getting to Barley Swine, and then you're going to hear him talk about getting into Barley Swine. And then next episode, you'll hear part two, where he talks about Barley Swine, and we talk about some other stuff. But it's a long one, so I figured I'd split it up. Kevin and I talked on my patio, like I said, and so you're going to hear some birds and stuff like that. We're sitting in. This was before it was 100 degrees out, but it was like a good 90, almost 100 degrees out, and me and Kevin just sat there and talked and sweated our asses off outside. I'm surprised we even made it. I'm surprised we did that. It's crazy. But we did. So that's what you're about to hear. Yeah, Kevin's one of the, I don't know how to explain Kevin. Kevin, when you get Kevin talking, it's gold, but also Kevin's got some great stories and Kevin can talk, obviously, because it's 3.5 hours. But Kevin's a very unique, one of a kind chef. I remember, this is just a little context of, I think it was like the first or second week that I was working there, and like Disney music started playing or something like that, and Kevin was like screaming the lyrics or something like that, or to like, it was like hip hop, or it was some like 2000s like hip hop or Disney music or something like that. And somebody looked over me and was like, can you believe that that's your boss? And it made me laugh, because I was like, that's pretty badass to be in like a fine dining kitchen and your chef is like that. So casual and cool. And I didn't like the Disney music. I did not appreciate the Disney music, but everybody there knows that. But it made for a fun work environment, Kevin's was a very welcoming presence. Like Kevin was very laid everything on the table and like told me like how this restaurant is and just made me guided me into the world of Barley Swine, and was very helpful. But that's one of the many strengths of Kevin, is being able to like delegate and like instruct people, and tell you like how to work better. But before we get to the episode, I will say a reminder that if you'd like to subscribe to the Patreon, I'm getting better at posting stuff. And if you'd like to subscribe to the Patreon, the $5 tier, the second tier, I have 3 tiers, 3, 5, and 10. 3 if you just want to throw me a few bucks. You get access to the old shit show episodes, and it's just like just a little support tier. At 5, you get episodes early. You get to hear these episodes a week early. And then you get access to some new exclusive episodes. I just posted an episode all about Barley Swine, the story of Barley Swine as I sort of experienced it. And actually, now that when I was recording that episode, which is a solo episode, by the way, I started remembering the episodes of No Reservations that it featured Bryce and the old Odd Duck trailer, and then also the old Barley Swine. And so I'm probably going to like watch those and sort of dive deeper into the stories and stuff that I mentioned on these podcasts and in the Barley Swine Patreon episode, just so there's like some visual context and stuff, and I can sort of pause it and explain. So those will be up there soon as I record them. And then I've started recording reactions to The Bear season 2. Spoiler alert, I am not enjoying it, but it's making for great content. It's fun to just like crack open a beer and sort of shit talk that show. It's so funny. It's really fun and funny. A lot of cousin. They're just giving the fans what they want. More cousin. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, if you'd like to support that, it's patreon.com/Peon Magazine. And then also on top of that, I'm working on some merch. I'm in the weeds right now with a designer, getting some new merch designs done, and so that'll be coming up soon. And I think I'm gonna give Patreon people first dibs for like maybe like a week or two, and then it'll go public after that. So look forward to that in the next month or two. Shouldn't be too long. Just got to get test batches back and sort of make sure that everything looks good and it's not too expensive and stuff like that. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And as usual, please like and share and rate and stuff. At the very least, please share it. If you're just listening to the episode, just do a little screenshot and post it on your Instagram. And tag me in it. That's the least you can do. That would be very much appreciated. It very much helps. It seems to kick up the listenership a little bit, so that really helps, gets the word out, stuff like that. So I would really appreciate it if you could do that in some capacity. And then merch is still available if you'd like. peonmagazine.com/store. What else? If you'd like to donate, just scroll to the bottom of this episode. You can donate there. If not, no worries. I just appreciate you listening. All right. Well, this is, like I said, part 1. Part 2 will be in the next episode in about 2 weeks. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this episode. Again, check out Barley Swine. Just see what they're doing, see where they're coming from. Check them out on Instagram, and they got some really cool shit going on right now. Bryce has got his farm up and running and stuff. So check out that restaurant. Go follow him. Go dig deeper. All right. Enjoy this episode with Kevin. Thanks. All right. Well, let's start with the hot dogs, huh?
Hot dogs, yeah. Let's start with the hot dogs.
How did you get to... How was your first job making hot dogs?
That's right. It took me a second. I was like, what is he
talking? I can't remember how that we came up. We were talking about that. You were like butchering fish in the back, and I think you just brought it up that your first job was doling out hot dogs, like baseball games or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
So my mom,
Bend, Oregon.
My mom, who's a teacher in the summertime, as most teachers do, get a summertime job. So she was managing the concession stand for the AAA like baseball team there. And so the first summer, I was just like the gopher boy. I bagged peanuts. I ran around. I fucking brought whatever anybody needed, carried some stuff out to there's a barbecue deck and then a beer garden. And I would just carry shit, whatever. I was like 16, 15.
Did she rope you into it, or were you into it?
I needed a job for the summer, so I was like,
okay.
why try to find something else? Just do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the guy who was grilling out on the barbecue deck was this fucking old guy, and miss you, Bob. Shout out to Bob.
Is Bob still around?
I don't know. Probably not. But
oh shit,
Bob had just like old guy, big old bend on his hat.
Oh yeah,
dark aviator glasses, and he just stood there, and it was pretty. He did fine.
What do you mean?
He was just struggling to cook hot dogs and hamburgers,
shit.
Because it's pretty high volume, and he doesn't have the speed.
Yeah.
Hey, hi, boy. It's a ballpark. You stand in line. I want my hot dog. So then the next year, they had me work the grill, and yeah, I was just young and fast, and it was easy. I was just cooking hot dogs and stuff. Every once in a while, they would have parties out there that people would rent the deck for to watch the baseball game, and they'd get like a special menu. And I would be like cooking pork ribs from raw on this fucking gas grill, glazing it with barbecue sauce, store-bought.
Yeah,
burning the shit out of it. They weren't boiled. You know what I'm saying? They were just
from raw.
From raw.
Oh, how tough were those?
Oh, dude, I don't know, but it couldn't have been good. It couldn't have been good. Knowing what I know now, it was bad.
Probably didn't take off the skin, the membrane.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Who knows where this meat came from?
giant.
You know, these
Kirkland
guys,
box.
these guys were the type of business owners that they went and they would like get the pennies everywhere they could.
Oh, okay.
So they'd go
Yeah.
to Costco to get their candy, and they'd go to this place to get this stuff, and they'd drive all over town and probably waste all the money on the gas that they were saving. But
Yeah.
in their business, it looked better. So yeah, who knows where anything came from? Yeah. So that was fun, and then that was in high school. So in high school, I also did culinary classes.
Okay.
Donna Kopax was my culinary teacher. She pretty much inspired this young, fucking wiry, crazy kid to like focus on something finally. And I mean, that really made me want to like work into kitchens. This was kind of like the first time that like Food Network was really like blowing up, you know, as far as having like people besides like making shit that your mom would make at home. Like the demographic was changing. Top Chef was starting. And so, yeah, I worked.
What shows were you watching?
Oh, God. I mean, I
Good
remember.
Eats, or was it more like chef-driven
Good
stuff?
Eats was a great show because Good Eats was very educational. I do
So
remember good old Maltamorio.
Oh,
where he would just have the people like sitting
he'd
in
have
a little counter in front of him, and he would cook, and he would say like weird stuff like, you know, it's always better if you season from way up high, as he's like sprinkling salt everywhere, or like doing this olive oil or whatever.
I always thought that was so ballsy because he literally would have like some of the best chefs on Food Network just sitting there like asking him questions, and he's just like, it's whatever, you know, just so like confident. He could have like Emeril Lagasse ask him questions, and he'd be like, yeah, of course you should season up from 3 feet away, you know.
I actually. He also said it just looks cooler, you know. He was like, I remember that, and
of course he did.
At a restaurant, second restaurant that I worked in, we'll get there, but this story pertains to Mario. I was trying to look really cool, and I had a full, I don't know what they are, a big liter of wine to cook with to deglaze with, whatever big ass bottle of wine is, not the regular standard bottle.
Yeah.
And I went, oh yeah, you want to look cool? You gotta look cool.
No.
And I raised this bottle up.
Oh God.
And I hit the bottle against the hood vent. I don't have it in my hand anymore, so now it's up by the hood vent, drops down to the ground.
Oh fuck.
And I fucking shattered a bottle of wine in the middle of service. It was
oh shit.
I think a learning experience.
At the very least. I thought you were gonna say you hit it and then it just like broke and like started a fire.
No, it bounced backwards and just landed on the floor.
That's kind of lucky. Damn.
Yeah, lucky. I was young. There was a lot of learning when I was young. But Donna Kopax, she said, if you are serious about this, you need to get a job in a restaurant.
Okay.
And that was my junior year, because unfortunately she wasn't there for my senior year when I was on the culinary team and we did the big competition for the state.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, so was this wasn't like home ec kind of stuff? This was like actual cooking courses?
It was home ec, but once you took the home ec, then she had a culinary 1 and a culinary 2. So by your senior year,
that's cool.
You could be in this culinary 2 making cool recipes because you know how the kitchen works and all those things like this.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's nice.
She was working magic out of this shithole of a fucking...
like a home kitchen.
So ugly, coil electric burners.
I was gonna say coils. Was it coils?
Shitty ovens.
Yeah. What kind of stuff were you cooking? Was it like recipes or was it just like
recipes? We had a cookbook that I actually have at home, which is hilarious because I got it from a friend who just left it. But it's Down Home Southern Cooking or something, which is one of the books that we worked out of. Yeah, we worked out of that book.
That's funny.
And so that cracked me up. But one of the big recipes I remember was Dutch babies.
Okay.
Making Dutch babies in school because that was great because you just got to put powdered sugar all over something. And so Dutch babies. And then there was, at the culinary school that I ended up going to, every year they hold a competition where their students are the judges, and it's for the high schools around the city, around like the area, the area,
whatever.
So that was kind of a big deal to go there and do that. So I got to do it my junior year, my senior year. both year, the idea was crepes, and we had to do.
Everybody does crepes?
Everybody does crepes. You had to do a savory and a sweet crepe. So I made crepe raviolis. It's beautiful.
What?
Made 2 crepes, piped it out just like it was a pasta sheet, and then just piped out 5 little spots, and then cut it with a pasta wheel. So they were crepes just filled with like a sweet goat cheese thing. Okay. But I made it.
All right.
Second year we did a beggar's purse.
All right.
Beggar's purse with the crepe, filled that with some like coconut or some like chicken curry or something.
Okay.
God, these flavors are all of it is so bad. I remember one time we did like a red
Very
pepper.
early 2000s.
We did like a red pepper
90s,
coulis on the bottom of the plate, and then I took the crepe batter and drizzled out. You know, like you see people doing the pancakes on Instagram now. I did that, but with a little squiggle of just crepe batter to put on top of the red coulis. And then we put the beggar's purse inside. It was beautiful.
Where were you learning this plating from? Was this from like Top Chef and shit like that?
I don't know if the timeline was there for that. I just, I mean, it's very, very like simple. Yeah. I don't know, just I'm a weirdo kid. I have no idea where these ideas came from back then.
That's funny. Was your family pretty big into cooking?
Oh, my mother and father. I love you, Mom and Dad, because you might listen to this. They are not the greatest cooks. My grandmothers on both sides, amazing cooks.
Okay.
One of them is very like down home country from Oregon. She made biscuits and gravy. She always had strawberry preserves in her fridge. She was very like that. I imagine back in the day, she did lots of preserving during the seasons and all that kind of old school stuff that one would do. The can of bacon grease underneath the sink, sort of. Yeah. She always had the strawberry preserves. Like the strawberry preserves was like a huge. Get some toast with grandma's strawberry preserves.
Okay.
Let's see how many jars of strawberries she gives me for the trip back. Yeah. And I'm gonna eat it as fast as I can.
Okay.
But then my grandma on my mom's side, she every year, Christmas, Thanksgiving, if it was a holiday where people got together to eat, it was a big table, as many people as could get there.
Damn.
And she cooked the whole feast. She's Italian, very Martha Stewart driven type of like lifestyle decor, like, you know, what was hot. I remember one year we had a turkey with on croûte with like a whole pie crust on top of it and decorations, and it was
so she was into it.
Not as good as the regular stuff that she normally made. She made like broccoli soup, cream of broccoli soup that, come to find out, like is as things were in the late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of just like straight up frozen broccoli. Yeah. Cream, blend it all, super easy, super Sims. I'm thinking that it's this like, she's this amazing cook.
Yeah, you had like a can of Campbell's mushroom soup. And
I made it one time for my mom for a Thanksgiving, and she was like, you know, grandma's recipe is just like broccoli from the freezer, right? And I was like, I will be blanching and making my own broccoli today. Okay. Thank you, Grandma. I love you, but I'll do my recipe today. So all sorts of that kind of stuff. She had sets and sets of china, like enough sets that I have a set of china. My sister has a set of china now, and my mom has like 2 or 3 sets of china. Okay. Her sister has a set of china. Whoa. There's a lot of china that this woman possessed. So it was like I had a charger. Then my soup plate came out. And also now knowing what I know now, like behind that wall, on the other side of that wall, every year she was cranking out some food for so many people, and it's very impressive. I can't remember who would have been helping and this and that, but I just knew it was grandma.
Because I remember my grandma would kick people out of the kitchen. Like she would get mad and be like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And she'd be making pies at like 5 a.m, and then also cooking like a huge meal for everybody.
Nope, I was too busy not paying attention to trying to probably annoy somebody.
Were you playing Pokemon?
No.
No? Okay.
Definitely. I mean, I probably have my Game Boy. Yeah. Like my OG original Game Boy.
Or like a little Tamagotchi?
It's like the size of a freaking It's like the size of a toast tab. Those those toast tabs that people walk around with their back pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
It's at least that big. Like you
that
might
big one, the OG one.
the OG one that's like
yeah, that
weighs
shit was
nothing, but it's huge.
It is like a toast tablet. Yeah,
yeah. You
for
could maybe
sure.
fit it in your back pocket of your
Yeah,
Jinkos.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So we would go down to California, and she would do all that sort of stuff. She had basil in her back garden. This is my grandma, my mom's side.
Damn, so she sounds like
she had a
real
garden. She had a whole thing going on.
cook.
That's where my love for basil came because it always smelled so good.
Yeah.
She would have zucchini growing, and I
so she had a whole
liked
garden.
zucchini when she would make zucchini, but if my mom made zucchini, it wasn't like grandma made it. One of her best recipes was a barbecue flank steak, totally microwaved. Pretty sure it was like sliced first, marinated, and then just straight up fucking microwaved. But I love it. I have a
sliced raw and then microwave?
And I think so. I have. So one of the most beautiful things that my grandpa did was he digitized all of my grandma's recipes.
That's sick.
I have
Yeah.
I have. Not only do I have all of my grandma's books,
Oh, nice.
which is a fucking excessive amount of books. It's very stupid. Every time I move,
You're like,
it
this
is the
insane.
dumbest. It's probably 20 or 30 like milk crates
Oh, damn.
full of books.
What the
So
fuck?
many of
For
them
real?
are like just useless, silly
Is it
stuff.
like the old, like the
Super
70s,
old.
60s
There's
style?
like a whole Time Life thing series. So it's like there's beverages, candy, galantines, ballantines. There's a whole pork book, every protein, whatever, seafood. Actually, Sean Brock had that up in that same set in his library.
Oh, when you went to
when I went
Audrey?
to Audrey, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I have those books. They're from my grandma." And she said, "Yeah, my grandma wouldn't let me have hers. I had to go buy those." And I was like, "Ooh," like flex on Sean Brock that I got my grandma's books. He had to go buy his. But it was
shit.
like cool to see that like his grandma had those books, and that's
same
what
things,
he
yeah.
remembers them.
Damn. And your
Yes.
grandma was out in California, too. So
Out
this
in
must have been like
California.
a whole...
It was an adventure every summer to go down to California for sure. We would do the state fair, get all sorts of crazy, fair food. She had there's some weird patch before they developed it. The land behind her also had watermelons just growing on it like randomly. I don't really know. Never asked questions.
You just shake
But
the
we would
watermelons?
like hop the fence, go get. Also, now that I'm remembering, she had like a bunch of citrus trees also growing in her backyard. I was in a little paradise that I had no idea about. I was so ignorant as a kid, and unfortunately, my grandma passed before I was like fully immersed in cooking,
Yeah.
so I never really got to like
Go back and check it
have
out.
those conversations or see it going down. But
Yeah, same for
I
me.
definitely have those like food memories,
Yeah, yeah. That's wild. Damn. So what was your first job? Did you go to college or did you go straight into a restaurant? Because you said your teacher said to get a job at a restaurant.
She told me to get a job in a restaurant. So my senior year, that summer, my senior year, is actually pretty funny. I was doing an event for the guys that own the baseball field where I was working. So, and it was an event downtown, and basically I was just like one of those volunteer, paid by the hour, under the table people to just go pick up the trash can, put a new bag in it, take that trash can to the dumpster. Because it was just a bunch of people downtown for whatever. I have no idea what it was, but it was just like, I'm in high school, you're going to pay me cash? Okay, great. I'll be there. And so I saw this kid, he's sitting on the curb. He's got this super fancy chef jacket on. It's got his name on it. He's smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, "Hey man, where do you work?" And he's like, "Down here." It's called Miranda. And here I come, walk through the back door.
Right then?
Oh yeah, back door, which it was like a public access back door. So it was right next to the bathrooms.
Okay. So you weren't just walking
I wasn't
right
just
in the
like
kitchen
straight
door
into the
being
back
like,
door. No, this was like a public access back door.
Okay.
But it is like a back hallway. So by the time you get to seeing anything, you're looking at like that cheap plastic door sliding to the kitchen. Actually, it was a really fucking heavy wooden door that hit me a couple times. And like the server bread station. And I walked behind them into this dining room that's just buzzing hardcore. There's a whole bunch of chefs on the line. And I'm like, hey, I'll just like talk to the first person. They're like some random fucking server. And I'm like,
They're like,
hey, I was wondering about getting a job here. And they're
Yeah.
just like, go to the people in the front. Like,
Yeah, like get the fuck out of here.
what are you doing? Clearly, I have no idea what's going on. And I go talk to the hosts. They're also kind of looking at me like, real cute kid. They give me some whatever. Maybe they give me a card or something.
Yeah.
Or say, you know, come back in the morning. I do that. I get a job as a dishwasher, and I'm a PM dishwasher at this busy restaurant. We're probably doing 300 covers. Fridays and Saturdays, it was like a 2-man dishwashing unit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, that's a large volume.
Yeah, it was definitely big. I just did the weekends, some nights after school, and that's where I met Tomas. And Tomas taught me this is how you crank out dishes. This guy was absolutely crazy. You talk about fucking crazy fucking dishwashers.
Crazier than David?
Whoa, way crazier than David.
What,
David,
for real?
Oh, at this
Okay.
point, so what I know about this guy was, first off, he speaks perfect English.
Uh-huh.
I think that he's like some crazy like Mexican Russian guy, but I don't know what his ethnicity is. Clearly Latin, but his jaw movement's so messed up that I think he's like Russian
Okay.
from drugs. But my stupid
he's just-
16-year-old ass, 17-year-old ass doesn't
Yeah.
understand that
That
concept
element,
yet.
yeah, because you don't know the
And
whole world yet. Yeah. That's
he
crazy.
is only reason he's stuck in Bend is because he threw some guy out of a bar window up on the mountain, which is the only reason why people come to Bend, Oregon, is Mount Bachelor.
He threw somebody off the mountain?
Threw someone out of a window. I don't know. I've
Trained?
never been there, but that's basically what he said. He threw in a bar fight, threw somebody out of a window, and so he was stuck there for court, or he had to
Oh,
be there.
shit.
So he was pissed because he'd always used to tell me that he was like he drove like some excavator or something in Las Vegas in a quarry, and he's like, I could be making $30 fucking an hour right now, but instead he's in the dish pit at the time, probably making like $8.
Yeah.
But he was so good that he would clear the plate rack where they stack the dishes.
Uh-huh.
Move all the plates over to his like stainless steel table area.
Uh-huh.
Clear off the area so he could go take a fucking walk down by the park where there's nobody
Oh, yeah. What's he
to
doing
do
there?
some fucking drugs and come back and just fucking crank it out. And I was like, I don't want. He's so fast. Oh, no wonder he's so fast and crazy because he's cracked out right now.
What moment did you realize that that's what was going on? That
Oh,
he
this was way
fucking
after he
cracked
was
out his mind or
gone.
speed or like
No, way later.
or something.
So naive. I'm so naive. I know how to smoke weed at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
I both my parents are teachers, so I was a goody two shoes until I got my car, and one of my best friends who had been trying to get me to smoke weed since junior high, my sophomore year, finally got me
Yeah.
to smoke weed with her. And so that was all I knew, and I was still very secretive. There's no way I could get caught. My fucking parents are both teachers. My dad's the dean of students at my high school.
Yeah.
I can't get caught.
Yeah.
So I had no idea about other drugs. I didn't know shit. But yeah, he was clearly getting fucked up and coming back and just banging out the rest of the night. That whole place was just so nasty.
What kind of place was that? Was like just a
Mediterranean.
what?
So by Mediterranean, they
that.
mean French and Italian.
Okay.
And then like 5 or 6 years down the road, they ended up getting like bored. And so they started doing like North African sort of things, like little chermoula spice on something. But
What?
it's like very French and Italian.
Okay.
You had your salad station, you had your pasta station, you had your pizza,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
all the fish came out of the pizza oven. You just seared it on a flat plancha, and then you had the grill and a big rotisserie.
Damn, that's nice.
He was a big name chef, came from San Francisco, where he opened up a very similar restaurant to the one that he was the chef of in San Francisco here in Bend. And so it was big time deal. There was so much crazy stuff going on. It was there's a rotisserie special every night. So it was like suckling pig, leg of lamb,
What the fuck?
prime rib. We did chickens and pork loins every night. And so
Damn.
after I did the night dishwashing, I did morning dishwashing, I did some morning prep, I did all the night prep. The night prep was sweet because you had two prep cooks. One of them was the pasta guy, and he was the senior cook, so he got to pick the music.
Oh shit.
And then
What was that?
you
Just
had,
pop punk?
depends on who it was. Trey, the guy that I saw smoking cigarettes, he had very eclectic taste in music.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was
We
all
talking about
over
Death
the
Grips
board.
right now?
We're talking all over the board, all over the board. Could be some old stuff. Could be like what was current on the radio. Who knew?
Oh, okay. All right.
You never knew what he
So
was.
he was
gonna
just
play.
all over the place. Yeah.
And then the other prep cook was he would have to shuck all the oysters for happy hour.
Good Lord.
He would have to do all the little peel and eat shrimp bowls. So we had this like ice
Holy
machine
shit.
that you'd turn it on and it would crank out some fucking crushed ice, scoop it into these bowls, put these cocktails, mignonette, so that was like your first hour. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you didn't get shit done on your prep list for the first hour and a half of work because you were just cranking out
Shucking oysters
for happy hour. And then you did all this other stuff, vegetable stocks, roasted all the bones for the stocks and cut French fries. I have fingertips missing from that French mandolin.
Oh yeah.
Like this is, I can still see the scar. It's great. I remember it very vividly.
The French mandolin's the giant one you have to like set up and
It's
like lock into
super
place,
janky,
right?
yeah.
And
It's
it's
super
like,
janky and all metal. It's not, It's not like a sexy burn reiner, but it also has like the teeth going up to make the French fries. We're not cranking French fries out. I'm mandolining Kennebecs in a julienne on that machine, and those teeth are like crooked. Like I know you can't tell because it's a podcast, but my finger is bent. Yeah, it was janky, and and this is this is also
all the time
before people cared about your emotions. So sure, I chopped the tip of my finger off,
and then they don't
dab
care.
it in some black pepper, wrap it up.
Okay.
You still got another 22 quart of potatoes to chop, bro.
Yeah,
and then clean the kitchen. So did all that morning stuff, prep, and then eventually one day this stupid line cook. At that point, I was going out to the line, finishing my prep list, cleaning the line. I was the pasta prep guy. We made the gnocchi. We did like 3 or 4 different pastas. It was really fun. That was probably the best.
Handmade pasta?
All handmade pasta. That was probably the best prep. That was the best prep job ever. Was you just went in, you got your potatoes on, you made your doughs, you did a whole egg for the raviolis, egg yolk for the regular noodles, and then there was always at least 3 pastas, 1 ravioli, and then a gnocchi. And you made all of it by hand. Someone else made the filling. One of the chefs made the fillings, but that was what you did every day. They said, "Here's your prep list. Make this many trays," and that's what you did. Oh, it was so great. Loved it.
Did they pay you at first?
Okay,
it wasn't just like
there
a
was
stage.
no staging. I was a prep cook that they moved up, or I was a dishwasher that they moved up to a prep cook. But when I would get done with my prep list, I would go out. Service wasn't over, so I would go out and I would help clean the line. I was doing anything I could to get on the line. And then one day, the girl who was the pantry cook called in sick and then rode her bicycle in front of the restaurant. Big, huge windows downtown Bend, Oregon. And I got the phone call saying, "Do you want to work the line?" And that was the summer the end of the summer that I was grilling. And I was like, yeah, I've got to do this for the rest of the summer. But yes, I'm totally in. And so they fired her and I started getting the pantry shifts. And oh my God, you've worked with me, so and it's a little, when it's a little wiry and there's kind of stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
So the line there, you came out of the back kitchen and you turned to the right. There was another little server alley. And then you went down the line and it was the grill station, the pizza station, and then it took a left. So
the kitchen was like an L
It was
shaped?
a little L, not quite L, but in that sort of manner. And then you had the pasta station, saute, and then you got to the pantry.
And
So I was not very
and cold and
organized
shit?
at gathering all of my things.
Oh no.
So things would happen, things would get fired, and I wouldn't have that ingredient on my station. I didn't even have to prep shit. You just had to go gather everything and put it in 9 pans and put it on your station.
How old are you at this point?
17.
Okay.
17 or 18.
Some leeway there.
And I am just running down the line, and all these cooks are they're having a laugh at this. Because I also, think I'm hot shit.
Oh, okay.
I'm fucking the coolest thing. You don't even know about me yet. And oh yeah, it was a shit show.
Yeah.
I had a day where was right in front of me. He scared the shit out of me. And I pulled out my drawer and one whole side of my drawer, which is all ninth pans for a salad,
Yeah.
the dividers popped. And everything dropped on the ground right in front of me.
Fuck.
And luckily it's a weekend, so it's a 2-man station.
Yeah.
And I looked at the person and they looked at me, and they were not the more senior station person. They were new after I'd been working there. So I looked at them and I just was like, don't say anything. And I just kept going back and forth, carrying as many things as I could without looking like I just lost my whole station.
Oh, no.
So I was hiding it from Chef.
Yeah, you didn't tell anybody.
And it happened right in front of him.
Oh, no.
And I mean, the rest of the cooks knew what was going on.
Wait,
but
how did he not see if like...
because he was on the other side in the dining room. It's it's an open kitchen.
But he's on the
expoing side in the
Okay,
dining room. So he can't see it at all. It's a huge
no.
wall.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And so that was a fun...
So wait, how did you fix that?
Oh, I just ran and grabbed. Everything was already prepared in the back. You just had to go open Cambros and fill up 9 pans again.
Okay. All right. Jesus.
Yeah, no, the line cooks there, you didn't have to do anything. You just had to go get it, show up at 3, be ready to cook by 4. And that just means gather everything and have whatever you need on your station.
Yeah.
So then after working in the pantry for a while, I finally got to work the pizza oven.
Ooh.
And so
was it like a brick oven or what?
It used to be a wood oven, or wood burning oven, but yeah, it's a traditional like flat pizza oven. We did pizzas during happy hour, and then like I said, we seared the fish. So all the fish would just be seared on a flat top or a plancha cast iron, and then it would just go into the oven to bake and like sear at the same time.
Okay.
You'd probably put they had some like cazuela, so like a double-handled big steel thing, and you just fill it up with whatever the ragu or whatever the set was that went with it, and just pop it in the oven to get hot. And once everything boiled and the fish was cooked, you just like, shit goes down, fish on top.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there was garnishes at this point.
Just
like a 4 ounce
like,
piece of fish.
Yeah.
So definitely that kind of time period of what food was. And then
meat inside.
I basically kind of got stuck there
at the pizza
oven because the next position was the grill, and I was not ready to work the grill.
Was it like a wood fire grill or was it an actual
charcoal? So it was a big old charcoal grill. The big, it's not like Argentinian, but it had the big wheel on the side.
The crank thing?
And you'd have to pull the wheel down.
Yeah.
And just
like
dump a whole bag of charcoal in there. Yeah.
Huh.
And then that was never going to happen. Under him as that chef, like that was never going to happen.
Why not?
Because I was too young and, all the things. The other station, the saute station was like the Kush station. It was like, I've been here the longest. I get to make do the saute. I get to do all the pastas. I'm not over on the grill getting hot. Nah, I'm just hanging out over here.
Are you working like every day of the week? Or is this
at that point,
school,
I was, so I'd gone to culinary school, started culinary school, and was working full-time in a kitchen on the line at this point.
Oh, so you were at culinary school as well?
Once I graduated high school, I went straight to culinary school, Cascade Culinary Institute.
Okay.
This school, the timeline's kind of messed up because everything's all meshed up together, but graduated high school. We didn't even talk about the horrible dishes that we made in my senior year in high school.
What do you mean? Wait, whoa. You said the crepes, but was there other? What do you mean?
Oh, my senior year, we did the big competition.
Okay.
The statewide competition.
Statewide, okay.
There's a
Did you win
Pro
any of
Start
these?
program. I think we might have got, we never won one, but I was always like honorable mentions in the top for sure.
Okay.
And if they didn't say it, I knew it was right. You know what I'm saying?
the person who just said all the dishes were terrible.
Well, it's at the time. Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that dish.
Wait, what do you mean?
Okay. So
How bad could it be?
So my senior year, gosh, we're going way back now. My senior year, my teacher wasn't there. So they hired a new teacher because some BS that doesn't matter. That's public education, not culinary industry. Service industry. So we had these new people. I guess She was the teacher, and her wife or her husband was our coach. And they had owned restaurants before. I can't even remember their names, but they were very Italian, Sicilian, but like they did. Giorgio was his name. God, I can't remember her name or their last name, but Giorgio. Big dude, huge nose. And he taught me how to make his fettuccine Alfredo.
Oh God, what was that like?
So this wasn't when I was making pasta at Miranda yet.
Yeah.
Dried morels into the pasta. I made the fettuccine.
That. Okay.
And then simple garlic shallots, white wine, cream, reduce it. And then we did shaky cheese. We did Kraft shaky cheese because he said it's the best.
It's the number one brand.
And so that was the fettuccine. It went with some like charred tomatoes or something, and then we stuffed fresh morels inside a double chop of lamb.
Okay.
And we did the two. And so it's only an hour-long competition, and you make 3 dishes.
Okay.
So it's a 4-man team. One person made the appetizer, and it was a crab cake with like a big radicchio cup.
Yeah.
And then we had the entree, the lamb, and then the dessert. I think we steamed a gluten-free chocolate molten lava cake.
Okay.
So you can imagine how delicious it was. But I didn't see what anybody else was doing because I had to make pasta dough, roll pasta dough, cook pasta dough, and then make the sauce. And I only have X amount of time to be on the burner, right? So at a certain point, I have to be there doing the burner. I got to cook. There's only 2 burners in the kitchen.
Oh, shit.
So I have to do cook the pasta and cook it in the sauce.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what everybody else did. I just made pasta that whole for a whole hour. That's all I did was make a fettuccine Alfredo, and then scoop it, put it into a ball of gloopy. Oh man, it was not sexy. What I know now. But yeah, that was a dish: dried morel fettuccine Alfredo with stuffed lamb and blistered tomatoes. I think that's what it was. I have a picture on my phone. I'm pretty sure from way back in the day.
Wow.
Maybe it's not this phone, but. If I find it, if I scroll across it one day, I'll send it to you.
All right.
You can put it on the Peon Instagram. So then fast forward back to I'm never gonna work the grill at this restaurant.
Wait, before that, what drew you to that? Because I remember seeing like dudes on this shitty line at Red Robin, and I was like, that looks so cool. What was the attraction for you?
Dude, he had this dopest chef coat. He looks He looks so crisp.
But then
and
when
clean.
you saw the line and you saw how crazy it was and how hard the work was.
I mean, I was.
Oh, this is hot shit. This is cool shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was really. So I was mediocre at everything growing up. Okay. So I could play every sport. Well, I never played football, but I could have figured it out. There was no need to get hit. I played hockey, so it's not like it didn't get hit.
Yeah.
But I was okay at everything. I was never good at anything, and cooking I was good at.
Okay,
I was starting to like in high school and just doing the prep lists. I felt good about what I was doing. It felt good. I liked it. I could tell that I was doing things better than the prep cook before me. You know, the guy that I replaced. I was like, oh, why did it take so long to do this? This isn't that hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just liked it. The fire. I wouldn't say like the fire and the knives, but it was also like I could tell that it was a space for delinquents.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very much a delinquent. I used the excuse of late night at the restaurant to go over to my buddy's house and smoke weed in his parents' garage.
Oh, yeah.
And then come home and hopefully they were in bed.
Yeah.
And, you know, so there was some very interesting people I met in those restaurants.
Oh, I bet.
Looking back, like I learned a lot. There was
whatever happened to that dude?
Which one?
The dude who worked
Tomas, the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I don't know. He quit
Just
it one day, and he left
it.
one day, and who knows? We hired. Then they ended up hiring the guy that I remember the most as a cook there. His name was Israel. He was also Latin, and that's what his paperwork said. But we called him Enrique.
Okay.
So you can do the math.
Yeah.
I don't know what his real name was, but he was just super chill dude. Always had the machine going. He would just come out behind you. He would say his little catchphrase with everybody was atrocity.
What?
So like an atrocity, but
Yeah.
he's saying atroc, like I'm behind you.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
he would make it it's an atrocity.
Okay.
And that was like his like one little like English joke that he had. But he was great. You never had to go take your pants to the dish pit. You never ran out of plates. Solid guy. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Tomas. Might have been down by the river. Then couldn't work anywhere else as far as like in the line. I wasn't going to be there. I was going to be stuck there. And for some reason, the chef de cuisine who came from San Francisco with this guy is getting laid off. That was pretty weird. And then the other guy's second restaurant, sushi restaurant, he's got to close that down.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So I kind of realized, not knowing that I made a great move, that this restaurant was clearly going out of business. I went to go work for the CDC at this new job that he had got, working at Scanlan's at the Athletic Club of Bend. So this is the restaurant attached to the Rich People's Athletic Club.
And you followed the CDC from
I followed
that
him
restaurant.
because he was, I worked with him in the mornings as the prep cook when I would be his bitch. Put all the produce. Hey, Big Strong Kevin, make me an ice bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was where I learned if you drop a compliment on somebody before you ask them to do it,
they'll do it.
They're more likely to do it. Because like, yeah, Big Strong Kevin, shit, yeah, he's right
course,
here.
yeah.
He's right here. He'll do it. No problem. Ice bath? Yeah, the iciest bath you've ever seen, chef. So I went up there. It was a much smaller volume. There was a couple of guys that already had worked there that were just kind of like feeling out whether or not they were going to stick around for this new regime.
Yeah.
A couple of them ended up leaving. I had to pass a drug test to get that job. And clearly was not.
There's no way you were clean at that point.
But if you ever read High Times magazine in the early 2000s, you're familiar with the Whizzinator.
Is that the shit you buy at the store?
It was a fake dong to come out of your pants.
Yeah.
That had a little click to release the what do you want to call it? A reservoir of real urine that you got from someone else. And then you got to warm pee like out of a fake dick. My friend already had it. So I was like, shit, dude, I'm going to use it.
So you just borrowed his?
His dad gave me his pee. My boss knew that I was going to have to pass this drug test to get the job.
Is this like an actual drug test where like somebody's standing behind you watching you pee?
No, it was super cash. It was super cash. Just go into the room. I made it way worse than it needed to be. But we had the Whizzinator, so why not use it, you know? So I ended up that
experience.
Yeah, now I have that experience. So I ended up getting the job, just pantry. I think they also had a pizza oven there, and then pizza oven was the next one. And then it ended up being this one guy who'd been there for a long time, and me, and we basically worked the grill, the pizza, and the saute collectively. And then somebody just does the salads and the really easy, cheap desserts on the side over there in their little hole. But it was just me and this guy basically running a 3-station line every night.
But this is just for Country Club, right? So it's like 40.
It was not a lot of covers. It wasn't a lot of covers, but that's where I learned to cook steaks. This is where I learned to make the pastas. All this shit was the same shit that he did at the other restaurant.
Just literally took it over?
Because he wrote the menu. And it was like he tweaked some stuff. He changed some stuff. It was like, oh, chef, the brine? Do the brine? Okay, we're going to brine the pork chop. Maybe it's not rotisserie now, but it's brined in the exact same brine that I've made for you for years. So worked there. That's where I learned a lot about like how to cook meat, and like I had time to like focus on one learning how to be good at stuff. I also took one hosting shift there because the host team, all the hosts were out of town. They couldn't get back in time.
I can't imagine you as a host. I can't.
So I hosted one night. I learned a lot of respect for the front of house.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not for me. I almost didn't have tables for reservations. It wasn't supposed to be busy, and then it got busy, and it was
like
very
freaking out?
much the service staff, the servers telling me what to do and where to go, and I was just a body that was like, right this way. May I take your coat?
Yeah.
And they're like,
Did you have to wear a suit?
No, super
it wasn't
casual.
like
I
that.
might have had like a button up, like a
button up on it, yeah,
not
yeah.
even like a, just a casual button up, not even anything fancy, no tie, no, nothing like that. Learned that was great. Learned how to cook there for a while. Ironically, also learned the trick of you can't go outside to smoke because you're in this big complex, right? You can't just go to the alley.
Oh, because they'll see you. Like the guests will see you or some shit.
This is how we used to do it before any of you guys worked here. The guy who doesn't smoke weed gets the pan on the line hot, ripping hot.
Okay.
Everybody's smoking weed in the walk-in, which is then just shooting air straight up, right?
Yeah.
But you got to
Yeah.
mask that. So a couple seconds after everybody goes in there and hits it, homie who doesn't smoke any weed walks in, hits the garlic into the pan as everybody exhales, and the weed smoke and the
like
garlic
a
smell
timed-
go out of the building at one time. So yes, it was very
So it was like,
coordinated.
holy shit.
Very
It's
coordinated.
amazing. All this just to like smoke
Just
weed.
to smoke some weed at a
while
job
you're
that
working.
you shouldn't be
Smoking weed
smoking weed at. Yeah.
And then you pass a drug test to get.
Yep. Definitely.
And this is also before like vape pens and stuff. So you had to,
way
like,
before.
you
No,
had to, like,
there's no
roll up some-
vaporizers.
yeah.
You had the volcano.
Oh yeah. The
Or
big,
you
the
had
big
that
ones.
crazy scientific thing that was a little box
Yeah.
and a little glass rod with
Yeah.
this weird, crazy tube that the only dudes that had those were the weird hippie guy that you bought weed from that you were like,
Yeah. Those dudes who
what the
invest in
fuck?
weed,
And
yeah.
every time you left that place, you were fucking trying to figure out what just happened. That was vaping back then.
God damn.
Yeah, no pens.
I can't imagine working high.
So
I can't do it.
that was as funny you say that because there was a day at that point in time. I was also, after I'd been there for a while, the first restaurant that I worked at that had closed, reopened.
Did it actually close?
Oh yeah, definitely closed.
Okay.
So chef ended up moving to Australia. There was this whole big thing in the newspapers because he was the big chef.
Uh-huh.
He moved to Australia. He had to file bankruptcy.
Oh, so he went bankrupt. Damn.
You know, there's a comeback story. He ends up being starts working for Frito-Lay's after a couple years, and he is one of the chefs, like the chefs that work for Frito-Lay's that are in those
Yeah,
kitchens
yeah.
making those things.
Yeah.
Doritos Locos Taco.
What?
I don't know if he's like
Oh,
the
he, like,
guy that made
developed
it,
it?
but he helped develop the Doritos Locos Taco.
Jesus.
So talk about a comeback story, right?
Wow. It's going from a 300 cover restaurant with like rotisserie and all that kind of shit
to
to making
gotta pay the
Doritos
bills.
Locos tacos.
you got to pay the bills, you know.
Dude, if he's getting any sort of like residual from that, he's rich. He's got to be rich by now, right?
I
Probably doesn't get
haven't
residual, but-
followed up, but the
have to get him on the podcast.
management
Ask
team.
him about that.
The management team reopened that other restaurant.
Okay.
Pretty much same concept. They were,
Yeah.
you know, and so then I was out of school and I needed a morning job so I could get more money. And so I was working
Gotta
the
pay back those bills.
lunch shift down there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you went back over there?
And then I would basically just get done with my shift, smoke weed the whole time I drove to work and get to work. And one day my sous chef, who, bless her heart, I had no respect for her. No one did.
Shit. Oh, no.
She
Why?
asked me, she said, can you just come in one day, not stoned, and just see what happens?
No, wait. What? Did she know you guys
Oh,
were
definitely
smoking?
knew.
Like, just because
Definitely
she...
knew.
Wait,
She just
wait.
wanted to see how I would do.
Oh, okay. But was the chef also part of the weed smoking crew, or was this all just line cooks?
No, the chef didn't. I mean, he didn't partake. He was not really there that often.
Oh, okay.
But
That's funny. So
no, and it wasn't like you shouldn't smoke weed because it's a bad thing. She was just like, let's just see what happens.
yeah,
And I went into that work that day, and I had zero focus. I was like literally like the term chicken with its head cut off.
Yeah, just
That's
running
what I
around.
did.
Did you do that on purpose, or did you really feel that?
No, that's just how I work. That's how I was. I'm ADD as fuck.
Yeah.
And I need something to help me focus and finish the job. So what happens is I can start a project. I'll take it to 90%.
And then you just
And
forget
start
it.
the next one,
I
and then
know.
start the next one, and then start the next one. And maybe that means that
I've
something's
seen it,
burning
yeah.
on the stove, or like, you know, croutons are in the oven, or
Yeah.
you just have a whole bunch of cut vegetables on your cutting board, but not in a container. They could be in your lowboy now. But no, they're just a pile over there, and I could have been doing something else.
Yeah.
So after doing that, the other line cook that I was working with, he was like,
Don't ever. Not
you
come
ever
by.
do that to me again? I'm not attached to this job.
Yeah.
Like, I do firefighting. I don't need to be here.
Firefighting.
Firefighters,
Okay.
firefighters
I
get
heard-
paid shit ton of money. This is
Do
like,
they?
oh yeah.
What the fuck?
In fire seasons,
Oh, what
because
the
they
fuck?
work like
Oh, they work like
they
crazy
work
hours.
crazy hours. It's
All right.
like you're on for a week, off for a week, and you're like the week. You're
Okay.
like fighting the fire.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not. You're like sleeping the bare minimums, and you're back out to fighting the fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was like, "No, dude, I don't need to be here. I will
Yeah, I don't wanna
literally,
deal
I will
with that
walk
shit."
out on you on all of this." And
What did
so-
she say? Did she agree with him? Was she like, please keep smoking?
She definitely was like, she didn't say you should smoke weed, but she was like, okay, I won't tell you what to do anymore.
Okay, so
like-
she kind of got
Yeah,
it. She's like,
she definitely figured it out.
yeah. That's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, so then after that, shit, we didn't even talk about culinary school.
How was culinary school for you?
Oh, culinary school was a fucking.
Was it a joke?
It was a joke, but I didn't pay a bunch of money for it because it was the Cascade Culinary Institute, which
Oh, that's good. So was it like
Here's-
$30,000
no,
semester?
I've already paid it off.
Oh, sick. Okay.
I'm done with my student loans, and my payments were like $73 a month.
Oh, sick. Okay, that's way better than most people.
I think I borrowed like $7,000 to get this half of my culinary school done, and then
Okay.
I stretched a 2-year program out to 3 years and just paid the rest out of pocket by only taking
Oh, a few
a few classes every semester.
Did
but-
it actually offer any value to you, or because it sounds like you're already in the thick of it? So what's the point of it?
in the
right?
fact that it gave me the understanding of why you do things the way that you do things.
Okay, instead of like a
As
chef telling
opposed
you
to just
do
like
that.
do it like this is what you do, this is why you
Yeah.
you never got that this is why you do it. You just got this is the thing, do it like this.
Yeah.
So that gave me a good understanding of like why you caramelize vegetables or why you just sweat vegetables.
Yeah.
What's the difference of what you're trying to do? If you're building a sauce, you're making French onion soup.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sweating those onions. You're fucking caramelizing those down, whether you like to do it with water or not, or however you like to caramelize your onions, people. You're caramelizing
Yeah.
onions.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
bringing
yeah.
out the sugars. They're turning brown. It's not a sweated ass onion. It's not a white onion. It's different.
Yeah.
So learning that and those types of like concepts was probably the biggest thing for me. Also just repeating like knife skills and learning stuff. But I was doing knife skills in high school as well.
Yeah.
I had a little card with everything. I was doing tourneys when I was 17.
God damn. Okay. You're deep
You know,
in it.
I'll fucking whip out a tournay right now. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Holy shit. All right.
So the culinary school was based out of the cafeteria for the students that lived on campus.
But this, you said it was a religious school.
No, not a religious
Oh, okay. I
school.
thought you said it was a Catholic school or something.
No,
like
no.
that. Okay.
Cascade Culinary Institute is what they called it.
Okay.
At Central Oregon Community College.
Oh, it was a community college. Okay.
Yes.
Damn,
The
okay.
layers get deeper and deeper. So you can see how this,
Yeah.
I don't know what the math is, but let's say 32 person school with 3 instructors
Yeah.
was pretty fucking small.
Yeah. And you're
so-
working out of just the
cafeteria. Yeah, they
cafeteria.
set it up. They basically told him, the chef, if you want to do this school, you have to do the food program for the students. And so he said, okay. So
Okay.
as the chef of the culinary school, he was also like the head chef of the cafeteria. He had a guy that he had running the cafeteria and all that
he was
stuff,
also,
right?
like,
But
dealing with that
technically,
shit.
he was the boss. So as far as like the
God
paperwork and all of that stuff, that was
shit.
all. That was his business
Damn.
because he wanted to make this culinary school happen. Crazy British guy, Julian Darwin.
Okay. It's a great name.
I learned a lot. Learned a lot about respect. I learned a lot about why you say yes, chef. I learned a lot about why you do things the way that you do them for whoever you're doing them for. Because there's a funny story about that. And I went through their culinary program was set up where you had 4 classes each semester or trimester, and there was 3 semesters. So you were either a first term, second term, or third term student. And then within each group of front of house, I can't remember what they call it, like
what?
dining room service was the
They
name of
were
the class.
teaching that?
Yeah. Dining
the
room
fuck?
service was one class. Then you had the bake shop. Then you had hot foods. And then you had garde manger.
Okay.
And so every week, the curriculum was based off of the luncheon that we were doing out in the
dining room of that thing?
dining room, sure. It was like a meeting center, basically.
Oh, shit. Were you feeding students? Who were you feeding?
No, we would feed. This would come from lots of like school stuff and different. So the culinary teachers from the high schools, maybe they would plan a lunch to come up there, or just lots of staff members from the college.
Okay.
I don't know. We did like maybe 40 people, maybe 30 people, and we did it catering style or banquet style.
Oh, okay.
And so we would just,
dishes and all
yeah,
that
we
stuff?
would crank it out, plate it, just slide the plate down, plate it, slide it down, plate it. And so in order to learn everything, you had to like do the recipe that you were in charge of, but then also like know what the other 2-3 people in your group were doing,
Okay.
because that's all that was happening. Was I'm making the sauce, you're making the mashed potatoes, Charlie over here is cooking the chicken, and
You had to coordinate kind of
they've
thing.
got
That's
the
what you mean?
whatever, and that's all you're going to learn that week.
Okay. So wait, it was on you to learn? Is that what you're saying? You had to like...
You had the recipe, but like as a team of the 4 people in the group, you all had to make it. So you just did your one thing. If you wanted to learn what the other people were doing, you had to go like kind of like check it out.
Okay.
Otherwise, you just do your recipe and get by. But if you wanted to learn, you had to go like out and do it.
Yeah.
We would do the luncheons. Garde manger would make the salad, and this was like apples cored out to be the plating vessel for a Waldorf salad. Yeah.
Oh, that's classic. Okay, that's like some...
So
70s,
learn
80s
lots of that, and then as you go through, you're a second term student, so there's new kids in the class. You teach them the ropes. Third year student, you're kind of like in charge of running the group.
Okay.
And that was the whole school. I'm pretty sure I paid less than 15 grand for my whole culinary school.
Damn.
Cheap as shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap for culinary school.
I mean, people probably have like books now that cost more than that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So obviously going through, I'm working every night. I do culinary school. I go to work every night. I think I'm hot shit. The only people that are cooking as good as me in the class are the other guy who's working at the brewery and the moms that have been cooking to survive for their lives now, you know?
What? There
Yes,
were
the
moms in there like
Oh,
hanging
yeah,
out?
definitely.
What did they...
Definitely.
They just wanted to like switch it up and learn
Some of them
shit,
were
or
career changing. Some of them were just kind of like learning for
for the sake of learning.
funsies.
Funsies. I'm here
But
for
yeah,
funsies.
they were the people that were excelling because they already knew how to roast something, you know?
Yeah.
So then back to the story of with Chef Julian and learning why you do things the way that you do things. The line cooks at work had taught me how to make hollandaise without using a double boiler.
And how was that?
Just in a pot on the stove, but you just have a low flame, and you just bring it back and forth, kind of controlling the heat that you want to while you're whipping the eggs and cooking the eggs.
Okay.
And so, lo and behold, we have some béarnaise sauce for the steak for luncheon this week.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy making it, and I'm cooking my eggs. I believe I might have been doing it in a bowl over the stove because they taught me that way too.
Wait, just straight up like metal bowl.
Metal bowl over the
on and
stove,
off,
just bringing it back. Yeah, just whipping
low
up the
flame
eggs,
or
right?
something? That's hilarious.
And
He must not like that.
so he was watching me, like the chef should.
Yeah.
And he's waiting and he's waiting and he's waiting. And I start to add the butter. And he lets me get about halfway in with the butter.
Okay.
And he walks by and he sticks a spoon in it and he tastes it and he goes, "Your eggs are not cooked. Start over. Use a double boiler this time." And I was like,
oh, shit.
I was so fucking fluffed up and mad because I was like, "You don't know."
So did you keep going?
Nah, I had to
You
throw
threw
it
it
out. I
out?
said, "Yes, chef." Started over. Did it the right way.
Uh-huh.
The full story of that is for my black box final, which is chopped.
Wait,
open
that's
up-
what they do is you're like your final?
That was
they
my
just give
final.
you
They give you a
that's pretty
box,
cool.
and I would cook them a 3-course meal with the ingredients that were in there.
Is anything weird like candy or something?
It was definitely like they wanted you to show what you've learned in the school. So my nemesis was yeast, so I got yeast. This was I think it was like a 3-hour cook because you had to do everything from scratch.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
You had to open the box, figure out what you were going to do, and then cook an entree or an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert.
Damn.
So I had to. It was early in the morning. I got ham, and so I was like, "Well, what else do you put with ham other than eggs? How do you show technique? Eggs Benedict." I don't know how to make English muffins because I suck at bread and that wasn't going to happen. But I know I can make biscuits. So I made biscuits, butchered, in air quotes, the ham, which is just a chunk of ham, showed my meat butchery skills, poached an egg, and then I made a hollandaise.
Uh-huh.
How do you think I made that hollandaise?
Did you do it in the double boiler?
Oh, no. I was doing it right over that flame.
Were you doing that just to like sort of like poke
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit?
And chef walks through the kitchen.
Oh, shit.
Eyes me the whole time, and here is my little 20-year-old ass shit-eating grin on my face, whisking my eggs away. And the best part is he's not actually grading the finals.
Uh-huh.
I'm making 2 dishes for the other 2 chefs.
Uh-huh.
So they have no idea what's going on in the kitchen.
Yeah.
They are just grading the final product.
Yeah.
And he is looking at me, but he can't tell me what to do because it's me
'Cause it's your
showing what
test,
I've
yeah.
learned from my test. And
that's great.
oh, baby. You telling me that you give 2 chefs at 10 o'clock in the morning a biscuit with ham, a poached egg, and a hollandaise on it?
Yeah.
Clean plates. Clean plates. And so that was my culinary school. Very simple. I ended up having to do the next 2 years after that, going to like basic classes to get my associate's degree from the college.
Oh, okay, like math and English and all that kind of
Yeah,
shit. Just to get the associates.
Yeah, I had to do some bullshit electives, and I took an art
fucking
class. I took
Yeah.
a like exercising. I can't remember. I think it was like a running class.
Okay.
You just ran. It was so stupid easy. And then I did a theater, or was it theater? It was like, I can't even remember. Maybe there was some form of theater involved, but there was no like stage play or like doing anything. It was just like go to the class,
Like improv
and then
kind of thing?
everybody would do like a monologue every once in a while. That was my
Wow.
final for that class. I did the monologue from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The very beginning.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And of course, I have a friend.
You're like freaking out. and
I have a
stuff? Like about
friend
bats?
has huge curly hair, very Dr. Gonzo-esque. And I asked him, he didn't have a job, said, "Would you come in for my college class and sit next to me? You have to say like one thing, like murmur something one time." And yeah, that was part of my culinary education. Part of my culinary education.
That's very unique.
Yeah, it was.
I can't imagine
But
you
again,
do
it
a
was
little
cheap as shit. So it was basically just an associate's degree from a community college.
With the culinary degree on top of it.
But yeah, culinary arts and business management is what I have a degree in, which for sure has served me no purpose. I never got a job based on a resume. Honestly, I don't even have a resume.
Who gets a job I mean, unless you're like in a corporate kitchen or like some sort of
trying to be the chef that you have to like, you know. So
when
when
I had the meeting with you at Barley, I was like, I worked on my resume, and then we talked, and you were like, I didn't look at your resume. Tell me where you're working. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, because most of the time you want to see.
You just want to see.
And I've learned a little bit more about being able to read resumes and what matters. And it's, you know, it's funny now because I look at, if you go to culinary school, if you're a younger person and you've gone to culinary school and you have very little experience after that, I'm probably more inclined to have you come in than some Joe Schmo who's just worked at a place for 6 months, then another place for 6 months, and another place for 6 months.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't matter how long that resume is, because what that resume tells me is that you went to culinary school and you finished it. If you can go and finish something, and that's something that I find very valuable as an employer today.
Yeah. You finished something.
You started something and you finished it. You didn't say, oh, it got hard and I just diverted to something else.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, if I'm looking at your age and you're younger and you went to culinary school, I'm gonna give you a fair shot to come in. What you produce, that's on you at that point. But for sure. At least I know that you will finish something. You'll get the job done.
Yeah.
Or that's the goal. Maybe you're too green for the place that you're currently trying to work at, but at least I know you can finish something.
Have you guys ever actually hired someone who came in a chef coat? I was talking to somebody at work the other day, and they asked that question, and I was like, I don't think so. Yeah, right.
No,
it's kind of a red flag. Like the second they come in, you're like, you can't follow instructions because I told you not to wear a chef coat.
I definitely say when I talk to anybody to have a stage, it's like we wear street clothes, so wear something comfortable.
And then they come in their branded chef coat, double breasted, and immediately you're like, I don't think you want this job.
Yeah, if you spend the whole day staging at Barley Swine and you're still wearing your chef coat, you're probably not catching the vibe that we're throwing out. So it's probably not going to work out.
There was so many people when I was working there that would come in with the chef coat, their Mercer bags, everything. Like they're trying to be hot shit. You know, they got the jackets and everything, and they got the pens and the thermometers in their sleeves, and then they ask for tweezers. It's like the one thing that you probably should have gotten, you know, to do a stage here, and you're asking me to borrow spoons, tweezers, scissors, everything else that you actually need. That's funny.
Because they don't know.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Knowing what you're staging.
Yeah, knowing what you're
literally...
Yeah. Why are you not going there first?
I got emails from Bryce talking to somebody setting up a stage to get hired at Barley Swine. Mm-hmm. I'd like to come in on Monday. We're not open on Monday.
Yeah.
You gotta know the business that you're trying to go get employed at if you're gonna try and get employed there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, big red flag. Like, you don't even know what days we're open.
Yeah.
Do you want this job, or are you just looking for anything?
Yeah.
So
that's hilarious.
Yeah. Now, where did we leave back off? I was at Scanlon's, right?
Yeah, you
the
said
athletic club.
Yeah, and you were just going right back and forth smoking weed.
So yeah, that I'm definitely old enough to drink. Having a cocktail after work every night, but I'm not a big drinker. And then I get sort of poached, if you will, from the chef out at Black Butte Ranch. So Black Butte Ranch is just outside of Bend. It has like 3 golf courses. They're like PGA level golf courses.
Okay.
Technically, this area has its own postal code and like police station.
Okay.
But like, it's a giant rich homeowners association.
Okay, yeah. It's just for people who want to play golf.
And
rich people who want to play
so
golf.
the chef was there he knew me from culinary school because he was in the whole American Culinary Federation, all of that sort of like culinary school, the bigwig chef stuff with all the...
Okay.
There's a lot of like, the point where you're some crazy Austrian guy wearing a lab coat with all your credentials on it because your chef coat's too long or not long enough.
What?
Sort of like in the world of like culinary, like French cooking, that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's not who he was, but he knew me from being those in those competitions and things. And he kind of poached me and was like, I want you to be the lead line cook out here. And so I went out there to be the lead line cook, meaning that I'm working at the fancy restaurant on the resort with his executive sous chef, who he just hired, who has to write the menu for like 3 different spots. One of them's like a little like shack, a more casual spot for like sandwiches and burgers, like after you're done with the golf course. And then the fancy restaurant, which is basically just a fucking steakhouse.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they do huge banquets for weddings and stuff out there on this resort.
It's one of those, huh?
The back kitchen where they do the weddings and things are, and all the big prep, is twice as big as the line.
Jesus.
So the line for
how many
service.
people are working in this thing?
That's why it was so funny that I was the lead line cook, because it was me and Hector.
2 people?
And chef and the sous chef, executive sous chef. And then
Jesus.
during the summertime, we had another person working the pantry station and doing the desserts.
Yeah.
But that's only 3 months in this resort town, right?
God
So
damn.
the other time, it's Arturo, the dishwasher. So
He's
the
doing
dishwasher is doing the salads and doing the desserts because me and the other guy are cranking out everything else. And it's just a 2-man, 3-man line. 3-man line if chef's there to stand in the middle and help plate everything. But it's not fancy stuff. We're talking scoop of mashed potatoes from the steam well. The line has 4 hotel pan steam wells in the center of it.
Okay, so it's a lot of just like scooping onto plates.
Scoop the... We were cooking the proteins, and then it's like very steakhouse-esque of like pick your side and your steak.
Oh, okay.
And then you pull the ladle out of the 6 pan for the jus to sauce the plate.
Yeah.
And then we either had port reduction or balsamic reduction.
Oh, yeah.
Did the little drizzle.
Yeah.
So that was fun. At that point, like I knew enough about cooking. During the winter times, we ended up changing the menu every 2 weeks just for fun. So
because
to keep ourselves entertained.
Yeah, was it just slower?
Because it was so slow. I learned a lot about like how you can prep stuff and freeze it to be able to like not make something every single day for no reason.
Yeah.
But we were making crazy weird stuff. We would just write words on a page, make like rye gnocchi, and it'd be like, okay, what does rye gnocchi mean? Well, let's get some rye flour and some caraway and some potatoes. Do you want to do a potato or do you want to do a Parisian? Whatever. Let's just do weird stuff. So we ended up making weird stuff. It was fun and all, but I had to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours on a fucking empty road in the middle of the night to go back home every night. Nah, that shit sucked. So I did that for a year.
Yeah.
I didn't get the sous chef promotion. They ended up hiring some other older guy, which I get it. Like,
yeah, you're like 22,
as far
23
as the business
at this point.
Goes, like he knows way more about that. But like, I wasn't going to sit here and have this go through another year of somebody who doesn't cook as good as me tell me how to cook.
Yeah.
And then do his like smoked prime rib because that was super cool. Like you're not pushing the envelope here, buddy.
Yeah.
So then I ended up going and getting a job back at the first restaurant that I worked at.
You went back there, huh?
900 Wall is what they reopened as. And I went in and I talked to the chef. I knew him. And I said, look, I don't want to drive out there anymore. I want to work the grill. I have one goal here. It's to be the grill cook. That's where I'm going to get. He said, okay, great. You still got to go through all the lines again and do all the training.
What?
So, because there was new dishes, new
it's like
things.
a whole different...
it's a new restaurant. Still got to learn the PM stuff, even though I'd worked the lunch shifts there.
Was it still the same menu?
For the most part, or like whatever had changed like seasonally, but like for the most part, cooking techniques was pretty much still the same.
Yeah.
And I went through pantry, I went to the pizza oven, then I did work. I can't remember if I went to saute or grill first, but I think I went to grill first. But then, I just did that for a long time, got it out of my system, was like, okay, I've crushed it here again. I know what's the next move for me. I'm done with culinary school. what am I going to do? And I was thinking about moving to Portland, but the teacher at the high school that I went to, that I was helping coach his culinary team, doing the same culinary competition that I did when I was in high school.
You were doing that while you were doing this other job?
Yeah, I was helping that. It was just in the morning during school.
Oh, okay.
Literally the school is across the street because I was living in my dad's house, and that's the school that he taught at. Yeah. So I was literally like right just there. Walk across, so I would just go over, help coach them. We actually made some really cool food, and the girl who's doing the desserts now, then owns a company called Two Sweet Cakes, and she has like 3 locations now.
That's cool.
They're in Bend. I can't remember where the other ones are, but I could tell when I showed her how to do stuff. Like I showed her how to drape caramel on the back of a upside down ladle to make a sugar dome. Yeah. And as soon as I did it once, and then she started doing it, and I was like, "Oh, you're doing this way better than me." I was like, "You're definitely gonna like do something and make something happen." So yeah, now she's successful. It's a bakery. She does wedding cake. She specializes in gluten free, which because Bend is a very hippy dippy place.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, she got on the cronut phase, everybody. So she does wedding cakes, all this stuff. Very, very successful. I'm super proud that I got to at least be a part, know her back in the day.
That's cool.
I taught her friend how to make hash browns before she went off to college. And now she's like a successful golfer. I think she's amateur, about to be on the PGA or something, but I'm like, yeah.
Damn.
I taught her how to make hash browns because that's all she liked to eat, and she was like, "This is all I'm going to be eating for the next year at college." I was like, "Okay."
That's hilarious.
But the teacher there used to live here in Austin. Okay. He actually taught at the Texas Culinary Academy, which is not a thing anymore, with James Holmes, the owner of Lucy's Fried Chicken and Olivia's.
Yeah.
And so he used to teach there, and basically I got a job just by knowing, which tells you how desperate somebody is that you're like, you'll take a guy from Oregon that you've never met before and say, "Oh yeah,
move down here, get please."
You vouch for him. Also, mind you, this guy's never seen me cook in a kitchen before. I coach his culinary team. Yeah. But he's never seen me cook on a line before. I could be a complete idiot.
Yeah.
He's never seen me cook in a restaurant.
Yeah.
So I had the job. I made a resume because I wanted to. And then same situation. He's like, "I don't give a shit.
I don't fucking care." Yeah.
Came down and staged just to make sure that I wanted to move across the country for this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so cool." They had a garden. He had just converted an old Lone Star delivery beer truck into a chicken coop. So we would go get chickens. That was right at the end.
Sick. Okay.
So we would go get chicken eggs straight from the chicken coop.
And it was behind the restaurant?
It was in the side of that. Down, so you saw the parking lot.
Drive by it every day. Yeah,
it would
just be in the back of that parking lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. Okay,
that's where I learned taking stuff out of a pan or off the grill and putting it on a tray with a paper towel,
an actual
a lander, and not just pouring stuff out of a pan into the plate.
Yeah,
using a spoon and using tweezers. Mm-hmm. And making elegant, sexy food because Olivia's at the time was very known for its farm to table, nose to tail.
Yeah, that was a big.
You were going to get a lot of offal all over that menu.
Yeah,
and
it was them and Foreign Domestic were the ones leading the way on that kind of thing.
Sweetbreads.
Yeah,
we did Rocky Mountain oysters, all sorts of.
Isn't that weird that now that Austin's got bigger, there's none of that? It's almost you think people would be doing it now, but it's almost like back in the day when there was almost no one.
It was in the spirit of Peon magazine. It was very punk rock back then.
It was very punk rock.
Very punk rock back then to serve somebody a pig trotter
or chicken testicles.
Yeah. We Bryce made his name on pig face.
Pig face.
And saying pig face, not pig jowl or pork jowl.
I picked a whole pig's head with my first stage of barley.
Jesus. Yeah.
They were like, let's just make this guy fucking do this for 3 hours.
Pick this whole face.
Yeah.
At least you didn't have to shave and torch the pig face.
No, it was ready. It was just sitting back there.
Yeah, because
Mark is like, all right, pick this whole thing. I'll see you in 4 hours. Bye.
Oh, what, the old barley?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the old barley. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember they used to do the pig face Parker House rolls? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tiny little bones, the smallest little bones.
Oh yeah, in the jowl area and the teeth.
Yeah,
getting all up in the teeth.
Yeah, I remember picking the whole thing, and then Mark coming back and going like, "No, there's still bones in here," and I had to pick through the whole thing again. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Mark
That's
is.
What you get for Russian, Zach.
Yeah, well, Mark is definitely not gonna let anything that he's responsible for go undone the right way because that's how Mark is. But he teaches you.
Yeah,
he
for sure.
teaches you for sure.
Very nice guy. But wait, so what drew you to that restaurant? Was it literally the au fall, like the au fall
No,
menu?
it was the fact that I just was going to get a job. I had a job, so when I came to stage to check it out,
you were like,
"This is really funny." So I stayed with the sous chef. So there was James, the owner, but he was opening up the fried chicken restaurant.
He was opening up Lucy's, yeah.
So his chef de cuisine. Mm-hmm. Basically, who I was in contact with told his sous chef, this guy's coming from Oregon to stage for the weekend. He's staying at your house. Okay. Mind you, chef de cuisine doesn't have a car. So sous chef is also driving him around all the time.
Oh, so he's like your chauffeur?
To work. So I was actually there on his days off. So I went with Dave. So Dave got to be the chef because his boss was off, right?
Yeah.
So all he would do is literally rewrite the menu for the 3 dishes that came off of his station for what he wanted to do. Uh-huh. And then the grill guy, Max, who's shout out to Max. He's up in Portland. Actually, I should get him on.
What's he working?
He owns 3 different restaurants up in Seattle. Excuse me, Seattle now.
God damn! All right.
But he's from Oregon, and so I knew him because he worked at King State Winery. He used to do all the charcuterie program out there. Mm-hmm. He was doing all this crazy charcuterie at Olivia's.
Oh shit! Like what?
Working the grill. His knowledge is very extensive of charcuterie. If he makes like a pate de campagne, he doesn't need a recipe. He just makes it. So all of those like terrines he has because he did it for a wine. Like at a wine vineyard for their tasting room. Damn. So that's all he did was just repeat these and refine it. So like I should have learned a lot more of that shit from him.
Yeah.
So he was on grill. I was staying at the sous chef's house, was here for the weekend, and then went back home, packed all my shit, came down, and the plan was to stay with the sous chef again until I found my place, because he was living in a 4-bedroom house down south, just him and one other roommate. They were paying probably like $1,200 for this place.
Oh, so like everybody's paying like $300 or whatever.
No, it was just at the time it was just 2 people, so you paid $600 and you had half of a house.
Yeah,
it was great.
Damn.
So I stayed with him in the spare bedroom, and then the first night I come into the restaurant, which whole shit show of me trying to get down here. My car blew up. I had to get a rental car. I'm not old enough to get a rental car, so my mom has to like sweet talk this guy into like letting this happen. And so I finally did this shit show of I get into work. Yeah. I show up in the middle of service, like, cause I don't know where this guy's house is, right? I just rode in his car for a couple of days.
Yeah.
I don't know where to go. So I show up at the restaurant and I go into the kitchen. I come through the back. I go to the kitchen. I'm like looking, sous chef's on grill, and the grill guy's working in the sous chef spot. So I hang out. They finish up service. Go home with the sous chef, and I'm like, so what's up, man? Why were you working grill? And he's like, I'm moving to California. It's like, what's up, boss? Okay. So Max became the sous chef, and then shortly after that, Andrew, the CDC, moved on to go work at Metal to be the chef.
Whoa, I remember that place. I remember that place. Wasn't that the place that was down on like, it's right behind the HEB on fucking...
It's down by the brewery.
Yeah, Zoe. No, the one that makes Zoe. Hops and Grains, right?
Hops and Grain. It's right there. It was right down there.
Now it's like a UFA.
So that was
UFC
his
place,
opportunity to
something
be
like that.
the chef without having a chef owner above him.
Yeah.
So he left. So within like 2-3 months of me moving across the country, I'm now working for what used to be the grill cook, who's also younger than me.
Wait. Oh, because the chef was over at Lucy's, and he's not there at all.
So I was like, oh my God,
damn.
I just moved across the country. Holy cow.
Oh shit.
So we just had a bunch of fucking young kids
Coming in and
running this kitchen.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. We had a blast. It was nuts. There was no leadership. And we were just, going. And I wasn't even like involved in any of management. I was just a line cook coming in every day, just doing my job in this
Were you
tiny
involved
kitchen.
in making dishes, or was
No.
that was all just the
Nah,
chef?
Max just did whatever he wanted. He just wrote the menu every day. It was very like whimsy, just kind of like put ingredients together, kind of make it how you want. He really let us like plate. That was kind of the nature of the restaurant, was they like plate it however you want it. So like,
Oh,
if you're
however
doing this
you would
like,
eat it, that kind of thing.
no, like plate it on whatever plate you want.
Oh, okay.
If you want to like do a big dollop of this puree and then swoosh it,
Yeah.
that's great. If you want to do a bunch of little dots, do a bunch of little dots. As long as the right amount of like ingredients go on the plate. But this was also like, this is right around the time like Instagram chefs are like, blowing up, and people are starting to use Instagram as like kind of a resume. So that's what he was doing. He was just making beautiful dishes, taking pictures of it. If you go back and you look at Max's Instagram from this period of time, it's just
tons of dishes. Yeah.
And that's literally like what he was doing, was he was building a resume to eventually go back. I can't remember what he did some private chefing thing for somebody that was pretty exclusive, and then ended up going back home and opening up this tiny restaurant in Queen Anne in Seattle, which I was ironically like in Seattle the like day that they were opening. So I like staged with him and hung out.
Nice.
And then he sat me down to go eat there. But yeah, back in that time, we were just crazy making up stuff. They were huge on brunch back in the day. Odd Duck wasn't open yet.
No, I remember
So
the
it was
hot thing to
just
do was go to Olivia
Go
for
to
Sunday
Olivia's for Sunday brunch.
and also like if you could get in for sure.
If you could get in.
And then also a friend of mine was like, "Oh, they're doing cold chicken on Sundays. Like they would take the Lucy's
Picnic
fried chicken,
baby.
and then they would do cold fried chicken on
No,
Sundays."
that's
Like,
where Lucy's
right?
came from.
Oh, is that what it came from?
So
Okay.
he called it picnic chicken.
Okay, so he would fry chicken and then
Picnic chicken meant you fried the chicken. We fried it all before service, and it just hung out, sitting up in a big old pile of chicken up in the window.
little sandbag.
And so it wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. It was just room temperature chicken
So
that's
the
been
danger
fried for
zone.
service.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the picnic chicken.
Okay.
And it was, I don't know, mashed potatoes, chicken, pickles and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why it was the picnic chicken, so you could take it on your picnic. You'd fry it at home and then take it on the picnic. It wasn't like cold leftover Lucy's. It was what started the whole idea of what Lucy's was.
Okay.
As far as my understanding is.
Yeah. Yeah. So did you ever work those brunches? Because that thing was,
I
was
did work
hot
those
shit.
brunches. I started on the pantry station where you're doing like the fruit salad, yogurt bowl, and then you're doing the French toast and pancakes. And we literally had, you want to talk about a big, massive cast iron, two-handled, like, goes over 4 burners on the stove.
Oh, that type of like
Huge.
cast iron?
Huge.
Damn.
We moved it in every week. The size of a griddle that you'd see in like a fucking Waffle House.
Yeah.
Half that, but moved it in and put it on the stove.
What was that for?
For the pancakes and the French toast.
Okay.
So I would you'd get your shit handed to you on pancakes and French toast. And then eventually I moved over to the omelet station or the egg station, and you do the omelets.
Good Lord.
And then any of the eggs that go for the sandwiches and other stuff. So it ends up just being, again, sorry to whoever this pantry person is, but you just got to pay your dues. whoever this old pantry person was over there, whoever the new person was, and me and Cy, who was working the grill and the fryer, just getting our shit kicked in because all Chef does is poach eggs and put hollandaise on stuff, and you set up all his plates for him. And
Jesus.
yeah, just cooking omelets, cooking omelets, cooking eggs, slinging them over here. They did the Mac Daddy, which is like some very similar version of like a McDonald's
egg
McMuffin. So you'd like basically kind of like make an omelet, but instead just like fold it into quarters. And throw it over, like literally like slide it behind the stove or slide it behind the poaching pan. To the grill guy because it's the end of the stove, so he can grab it and plate it on his shit. Because I just literally be
just
slinging pans down to him, and then he would plate them and then slide them back to me because we were just having to. It was the nonstick pans, and you just keep re-going.
Wait, so you were so busy you couldn't plate, so you had the grill guy?
No, it would be his grilled. Whatever, like the egg sandwich that he was plating that needed eggs, I would just throw them over to him. But then I'd also have to turn around and pick up the omelet that's going with that sandwich at the same time.
Jesus Christ. Holy shit.
So that was, that was fun. I think I got hired there for reference at $9.50 an hour.
This is what, like 2000, it's got to be like 2012. 11, 12, okay.
2012 is when I moved here.
Damn, yeah. I think I was making like $7.50 or something like that. Something crazy. Some crazy low amount. Yeah.
Yeah. I got promised 10, and then when I saw my first paycheck, it was $9.50, and I was like,
the fuck?
I thought we talked we talked about this. And, you know, that's how some places do things.
Yeah.
Who knows if it was on purpose or not.
Yeah.
But I definitely got my $10 an hour for that. And then after I worked there for like 6 months, and my roommate, who I ended up just taking over the sous chef's house. My roommate was the pastry chef at Barley Swine. Barley Swine's also right across the street from Olivia's. They were the new hot shit.
Yeah.
You could never get a job there because no one ever left. Someone would have to die.
For real.
So I would just go and stage there on my 2 days off just to learn. I'm young.
Jeez. Okay.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Getting all sorts of cool stuff. And then eventually they're getting ready to open Odd Duck, so they start hiring. Had no intentions of ever getting hired there, but then Bryce offered me a job. And yeah, then I started working at Barley Swine.